sleep comes to us all. Let's forget about this. He just talked about what happens when it comes to him each day. Sleep comes to us all, but let's talk about this day as being your life, shall we? So you've got what you do throughout the day. Laugh 10 times, learn 10 things. At the end of the day, you chew it all over. Then sleep knocks at your eyelids. At first, you're just dumb and not as responsive. Later on, you're lying down, i.e. dead. Take it if you like. Interesting. A little bit of nonsense, but it sure is poetic, you know. When Zarathustra heard, okay, and that's the end of what the sage has to say, and I don't believe that he goes on, no, that was quite a long speech by the sage. When Zarathustra heard the sage speak thus, he laughed in his heart, for an insight had come to him, and thus he spoke to his heart. This sage, with his 40 thoughts, is a fool, but I believe that he knows well how to sleep. So he knows how to sleep, but he's a damn fool. Happy is he that even lives near this sage. Such sleep is contagious, contagious even through a thick wall. There is magic even in his chair, and it is not in vain that the youths sit before this preacher of virtue. His wisdom is this, to wake in order to sleep well. Right? When you wake up, get prepared to go to sleep at the end of the day. Here's what you got to do so you can sleep well. I don't think Nietzsche's buying. I don't think Zarathustra's buying it here. To wake in order to sleep well. That's his wisdom. And verily, if life had no sense, and I had to choose nonsense, then I too should consider this the most sensible nonsense. So if I looked at life the way they did, I should want to sleep through it as well. Now I understand clearly what was once sought above all when teachers of virtue were sought. Good sleep was sought, and opiate virtues for it. For all these much praised sages who were teachers of virtue, wisdom was the sleep without dreams. They knew no better meaning of life. Wisdom was to sleep without dreaming. Today also there may still be a few like this preacher of virtue, and not all so honest. But their time is up, and not for long they will stand like this. Soon they will lie. Blessed are the sleepy ones, for they shall soon drop off. Thus spoke Zarathustra. Blessed are the sleepy ones, for they shall soon drop off. And it's better to go to sleep. If you don't understand what life is for and what you're doing in this world, it's better to just go to sleep. I think the guy died at 49 years old, is that right? Something like that. 59 maybe? At one time Zarathustra also cast his delusion beyond man, like all the afterworldly. I apologize if there's been a cricket chirping. I think I've got the little bastard. Okay, on the afterworldly. What does Zarathustra have to say about the afterworld? At one time Zarathustra too also cast his delusion beyond man, like all the afterworldly. The work of a suffering and tortured God, the world then seemed to me. A dream the world then seemed to me, and the fiction of a God. Colored smoke before the eyes of a dissatisfied deity. Good and evil and joy and pain, and I and you, colored smoke this seemed to me before creative eyes. The Creator wanted to look away from himself, so he created the world. Prime mover. Drunken joy it is for the sufferer to look away from his suffering and to lose himself. Drunken joy and loss of self the world once seemed to me. This world eternally imperfect. The image of an eternal contradiction, an imperfect image. Right? This world is not platonically real. It's fuzzy. Platonically fuzzy. In a Plato way. Platonic, like platonic love, has certain connotations, which I'm not... So the world looked like an image of an eternal contradiction, an imperfect image, a drunken joy for its imperfect creator. Thus the world once appeared to me. Once appeared to me that the world is imperfect and that the creator of it is imperfect. Thus I too once cast my delusion beyond man, like all the afterworldly. Beyond man indeed? ? Alas, my brothers, this God whom I created was man-made. Aha. And madness, like all gods. Man he was, and only a poor specimen of man and ego. Pause there. He's talking about God. He's talking about the monotheistic God of pre-Greek, pre-Roman Hebrew civilization, imaginings of the nomads in the desert. A poor specimen of man and ego. Not only is God created by us, but we didn't even do a very good job. He's silly. He's capricious. He's not even a good human. You wouldn't, if you met him in real life, you'd say he's evil, horrible. So, poor specimen of man and ego. Out of my own ashes and fire, this ghost came to me. And verily, it did not come to me from beyond. It's not from another world or anything. Because there isn't another world, see. What happened, my brothers? I overcame myself, the sufferer. I carried my own ashes to the mountains. I invented a brighter flame for myself. And behold, then, this ghost fled from me. This ghost left me once I became an atheist, I believe. Now it would be suffering for me, and agony for the recovered, to believe in such ghosts. Now it would be suffering for me, and humiliation. Thus I speak to the afterworldly. So, he says, it used to be all the central core of my beliefs. It used to be my worldview, my Weltanschauung. But now, I'm pretty sure that's the German phrase, but now it is far from me. I would have to be, what did he say? He says, now it would be suffering and agony for me to believe in this stuff. It was suffering and incapacity that created all afterworlds. This and that brief madness of bliss which is experienced only by those who suffer most deeply. That brief madness of bliss which is experienced only by those who suffer the most deeply. Apparently he's claiming to have suffered most deeply, claiming to have had that insight, right? It says, it was suffering and incapacity that created all afterworlds. Now, I think that's pretty true. I think that's really quite true. I said this to Bobby Sue the first day of summer because our poor little puppy Athena died. Our mascot. Her leash came untied and she went to chase a truck and the leash got cut into the tires and she got killed. And I said, I wish I could think of Athena going somewhere else or something, you know. But I know she's not somewhere else, and I'm glad of it because she would be very sad there because she wouldn't have you and I to play with. So it was very sad, and I thought that's the impulse that I feel right now is what creates heaven and hell and God, and to say no matter how bad it gets and no matter what happens and no matter how evil and capricious the world seems, remember there's someone watching and he loves you. I mean, you put it that way, and I don't know, they say that kind of thing in Sunday school all the time. It doesn't sound comforting to me, but it comforts people. I guess it used to comfort people. Like he said, I couldn't go back to believing it. There's no way. Wariness that wants to reach the ultimate with one leap, with one fatal leap. A poor, ignorant wariness that does not want to want any more. This created all gods and afterworlds. An ignorant wariness that does not want to want anymore. You're beyond even wanting anything. You want to do away with wanting. That is what created afterworlds, he says. Believe me, my brothers, it was the body that despaired of the body and touched the ultimate walls with the fingers of a deluded spirit. Believe me, my brothers, it was the body that despaired of the earth and heard the belly of being speak to it. The belly of being, of beingness, of existence. It wanted to crash through these ultimate walls with its head and not only with its head over there.